Atlanta. Aaron Jones sighed as he stepped out into the warm Georgia sun from the public library on Ponce de Leon Street after casting his vote in the midterm elections Tuesday afternoon. Until late that evening, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock was worried and confused as the Republican nominee entered a tight race with embattled former football star Herschel Walker. On Wednesday morning, Jones was infuriated. "It's been stressful," said Jones, an auto body repair supervisor. "It's not in terms of who I'm voting for. But you're looking at what's going on in politics, and most of it isn't about people. It's outrageous that one party trumps another, and it's hard to watch and hear that every day. But now, after all that, it's still not over." According to NBC News, Warnock was slightly ahead with 49.2% of the vote as of Wednesday morning, compared to Walker's 48.7%. The two will face each other in the December 6 runoff, as neither candidate wins a majority of the general vote, as required by state law. The outcome may decide whether Democrats will continue to hold weak positions in the 50-50 Senate, particularly in the other two Senate races still to be called. "Now we have to spend another month with ugly politics," said Jones, 47. "This is disappointing because one of the candidates is a qualified senator. The other is Herschel Walker." Runoffs to decide control of the Senate are not new to Georgia or its black voters. Just 22 months ago, in January 2021, the black vote led Warnock to a second-round victory. Combined with Senator Jon Ossoff's victory in the second round against another Republican candidate, this win gave Democrats control of the Senate. Jones said black voters face the burden of having to pull Georgia and the country across the border. Again. The story continues. "The thing is, we can do it," he said. "We showed it. There's no point in having to go back. That part is confusing." Jones and other black voters here were surprised that Walker was able to qualify for the runoff after suffering much controversy during the campaign. Two women accused the former Heisman Prize winner of paying for abortion years ago. Self-proclaimed anti-abortionist Walker denied the allegations. Warnock's ad campaign focused on Walker's non-compliance with the law, exaggerations about his academic credentials, mental health issues, and family concerns, but it was still a tight competition. Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker. "We can't sleep on it," said Dee Thompson, a nail shop technician in southwest Atlanta. "I don't understand. Warnock did a good job. He showed he was qualified. Herschel Walker? He shook his head. I don't understand how even Republicans can say they care about Georgia and vote for her." However, an NBC News exit poll showed that Walker received 95% of the Republican vote and 70% of the white vote, or 62% of the voters. Although Walker received overwhelming support from Republicans, exit polls show that the party did not necessarily vote negatively to support him. Defeating Stacey Abrams, Governor Brian Kemp received 74% of the white vote, compared to Walker's 70%. But that doesn't matter much to Walker supporters like Shelley Winter, a black conservative talk show host at the WSB in Atlanta. Getting Walker to the second round was a victory. After 6 months and more than $72 million in personal attacks, Herschel Walker, a sitting senator, is in the runoff with an educated, intelligent, brilliant pastor, Winter said. "I think that points to the unpopularity of the Democratic Party in Georgia. That's really the only thing that would explain it. You can't explain it racially. Herschel is not like a white man. You can't explain it in terms of gender because they're both men. It could just be that. It's hard to admit you didn't win." Abrams' failure to become Georgia's first black female governor, especially after getting close to Kemp in the 2018 gubernatorial race, disappointed many black women who ran for office and idolized Spelman alumni for their voter registration efforts after their 4 defeats. Years ago, people gather across the polling place to encourage voter turnout. "It's hard to admit that he didn't win," Thompson said. It was encouraging to hear young women talk politics in the shop. They all have a huge admiration for Stacey Abrams. According to NBC News exit polls, Abrams received 90% of the black votes, while only 51% of the women's overall vote. Only 25% of white voters voted for Abrams, compared to 29% of Warnock. Overall, Warnock received at least 100,000 more votes than Abrams. I voted for Georgia first. I can't worry about the Senate, Jones said. That takes care of itself. I think some Republicans felt the same way because they didn't vote for Herschel. They believed in Kemp. And they didn't believe in Walker. Eric Walton, a real estate agent in Atlanta, lives in downtown St. Luke's Episcopal Church. She had similar feelings. He said the key issue in his decision to support Warnock and Abrams was to counter Republican extremists and their underdogs. The possible overthrow of the government, the uprising, and the election deniers were too big for me, Walton said. Thompson agreed, saying Walker's relationship with Trump was the ultimate factor for him. I'm not that big on politics, but I understand what's at stake in this election, he said. Blacks are not interested in anyone who reminds them of Trump. Herschel Walker is a Republican who could be a Trump puppet, and it's not good for us. According to 55-year-old Ariel Martin, one of the most important results from the Georgia races was that black voters mattered. There is power in our votes. Without 2020, this race would have looked like any other old midterm for black people, said Martin, a tax attorney in suburban Atlanta, while shopping at his local grocery store on Wednesday. But we realized our strength 2 years ago, and now, despite the pressure of voters, our votes matter. We voted a lot because we knew it was. The blacks did it to hold the Republicans accountable. And now it's back to us to save the Senate, added S. Dorian Hampton, 41. We did it once. We can do it again. This article was originally published on NBCnews.com.